we have Naheulbeuk and Ajiv or Big Jiv. They are playing against Eli and ADHD or Prince of Peace. I don't know what he would like to be called, but anyway, we are in the game. So Ajiv is playing as the Portuguese and again Germans on Naheulbeuk. Eli is also playing Germans and France. So personally I do prefer Portuguese a bit over France, but I think they are both average civilizations. So if you they don't really have many weaknesses, but they also don't have their strong points aren't too strong to justify an above average rating, in my opinion. So this can be a good game. I think Eli at least can play defensively pretty well. Prince of Peace, I don't know. I cannot say too much about him. And Ajiv and like the GD players tend to always play a bit more defensive. So this can be a game which actually might go a bit longer. And then again I say it and there are a lot of dragoons running in the base. The 2005 style of deathmatch, just build a billion dragoons, get the natives and get in the face, kill villagers, deny production. Let's see if that works out. I'm interested. So personally I would have maybe mixed in a few more hussars at this point. You would also, if you do that, you really want to put your towers a bit more forward, and you also don't want to forget your mortar. I think at this point, I think this would have maybe been the point where I would have retreated, just because the skirmishers will just deal with the dragoons, and now he's also just retreating. So it's a decent attempt. I mean, if you can overwhelm someone, you just win the game from there, and it's a big investment, so it's no small investment. So yeah, but I think it's a decent attempt. He also really needs to build his factories, so he's also building economy behind it, so he's not going super all in with it. And Eli, of course, is building towers and stuff, and just supporting on the other side. So I think this game is going as I expected. I think I didn't expect Prince to be that aggressive, but it's a good attempt. So now is the point where you absolutely should retreat. So there's no way you will ever kill this army without cannons, and especially not with dragoons. Also, the dragoons of France are, I think they are a bit above average, but not much above average. While the Portuguese dragoons are just the best dragoons in the game, so you cannot expect to outlast a dragoon trade against Portuguese. So yeah, but he has the right idea. He gets cannons now. So to continue his push, he also does get economy. So I think like what you want to do at this point, once it slows down a bit, you want to wall off the map a bit. You can also get the other trading posts here. At least that's what I usually do, because you're not busy microing your army, so you have some space in your head free to do something productive, and this means walling off the map and stuff. I think especially in deathmatch, so there really you can always do something which helps you win the game. So either building walls or building trading posts or doing your economy, getting up bases in case you get raided. So there's at least until minute 15 There should never be something where you are not doing much in a way. So that's what I'm trying to say. But this fight is actually so interesting. It's going a bit better for the 3D guys, I think. But the cannons did do a lot of damage. I think they are lacking coverings. Oh, he already has coverings. So yeah, with coverings, and if he can keep his heavy cannons alive, then I'm just not a fan of running the goons so far forward. And yeah, so the heavy cannons got some hits, but they survived, so that's good. I think he also, if he plays this aggressive, sorry, he really should have gotten some towers here, maybe some balls here. I know it's always easier if you're watching. I often forget that too, but it really helps you push, and towers are especially good. So they are pretty good against everything in deathmatch. So towers usually force out mortars. Otherwise you cannot get a good trade versus them. And yeah, I mean you can kind of kill them with cannons. But then you have to put your cannons aggressive, and that puts them into danger of being sniped by some coverings. So really, towers is always a good. It's always a good decision. They are so hard to kill in deathmatch, especially with all the building HP cards that everyone uses. So cannot stress how good towers are in deathmatch. Yeah, I think they could continue here with their push, at least for the moment. I think they kind of blew their window now. There was a moment where they didn't have many cannons, the Portuguese or the... I just call them 3D team, just because it's easier for me. Or Big Boy, A-Boy team, that would be funny. So they had Eli's team had a moment to push there, but oftentimes people would hesitate, and that's also what's happened there. So they hesitated, and now they could regroup, could remake their army, and now the cover in micro is really good for Ajiv. So he essentially traded 2 coverings for 5, and you don't need it to be a math genius to know that that's not a good deal. Yeah, but at least I think the flank here was very good. So all in all, I don't think the trade went too bad for France, to be honest. Yeah, like the lack of anti-cav really hurt him there. Now a raid starts, and if he would have made a wall at some point here, then this raid would have been completely useless. At least he has a stable, so he can make just... I think I would even make gendarmes against this. Or he could just send his goons back. I mean, that makes sense. Yeah, because the problem with Ulans is they have so much attack that if they are in high numbers, they will outtrade, or they will trade good. Or trade exceptionally good against even their counters, so if they have the numerical advantage. But I don't think against gendarmes they will trade good. Yeah, so that's what I would have probably made gendarmes. But sending them back is also a good idea, I think. Now it seems like that the French player is alone a bit. Eli is coming here, but the trading post really is not helping them as a team. So they do not have a lot of space to maneuver. So while they have all the space they want, I would have liked some mortars, so at least one for Ajiv. Especially the Portuguese mortars are such a pain to deal with. So you could just put one here and put in a lot more pressure, and then you could keep your units behind. Yeah, also some boards here, maybe some towers would also be really good, I think. Yeah, so yeah, but I think you like there's so many skirmishes that you kind of need to have cannons, and if you build cannons, you have to build culverins. Or what also could have really just like if he could get out like 20 to 30 gendarmes, they would just clean up everything here, so that a calf switch could have also been decent here. Yeah, so usually what happens if you're building too many cannons, you don't have population for enough anti-cav. In this case, 24 can be enough. Yeah. Yeah, I think a gendarme switch could have cleaned up a lot here. And at this point, the goons also are not really that useful, so I hope he's not rebuilding them. Yeah. Some raids going on here. Some double circlers. No factory's gone down so far, I think. No. Oh, there's the Ajiv specialidad, speciality. He would just do this. He would build a town center somewhere on the map, produce villagers, and go from here. I think he could have just walked there with a villager like here and build it, and it would have made the same. Would have been the same result. Even though it's not doing much, it's at least distracting. So I think, yeah. So if you're just doing something on the side of the map, what often happens? So people, I would say all people are not good at multitasking. So if you have to think about dealing with a raid, you will typically eventually slip up something at the front. So your cannons will go at the front or something. So I think raiding and doing something like this is basically always a good decision. Yeah, so that's why I like. Oh, now Dobbs run in. I don't know why he made. I don't know why there's so many Ulans. Did he forget them with the city shipment point? Oh, there's the snipe factory. So Thief is very happy. I think that's exactly what he wants to see. Some double certainers walking around the edge of the map, killing 2 walls and killing a factory. So that's actually very sloppy if you ask me. So there was probably enough time to do something about it. But I don't think it changed the result in any way. So it's a snipe factory, so I give him that. Oh, maybe actually it probably did, because 50 skirmishers were not at the front. So his mate was getting doubled. So maybe a bigger issue than. Oh, wrong thing. Oh yeah, sorry, I missed the 10 cows. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Next time I will. I was too busy talking about H's fun strategy, you know. This seems to be like something like 3D guys just do. Build a town center somewhere and then send rockets to kill factories. Not something I've seen before, but if it works, I give you it. Yeah, so I think this was actually one of the best games. I think it was pretty, for me at least, it was pretty clear who would win. But they made it a lot closer than I would have expected. I think Prince played decent. And I'm hoping for some. Yeah, only the lame 3D guys do that. Yeah. So I'm hoping for a good second game. So what Eli also would often do, he would make, in my opinion, it's just random stuff. He would say it's good stuff, but for me it's mostly just random. So he would make outlaws and stuff, and that can be interesting, or that's interesting. It's not standard. I think it's suboptimal, but he likes it and he sometimes makes it work. So yeah. So next game we are on Upper Andes. We are having the Sweden and the Ottomans. Swedish is one of Eli's favorites, so I expect him to do some mercenaries. So at least that's what he usually does, mercenaries and outlaws. Prince of Persia just playing Ottomans. I think Ottomans. So I think he's having the right ideas. So he's going forward. He's using one villagers with each. I think he could use one more villager at the front. So 2 is usually enough. And sending the waypoint of the villagers back. Prince of Persia, where are you? Prince of Persia. So what I dislike about this deck, so I don't like the balloon. I don't really like the woodcuts, so I would rather have 5 TCs. Maybe the woodcuts are good because they're natives, so maybe there's something to it, and I'm not currently seeing. But he's also missing an endless card, so I would always use that. I would rather skip something. I'm not sure. No, let's just focus on the game. So Lakota. Oh, Fifi would be really proud with Lakota. Lakota. So I don't think I've casted a game with Lakota yet, so I think I should go into detail a bit more. So I don't think you can actually, with Lakota there is a win condition against players who know how to play against Lakota, because really all you have to do is wall and make some mortars to deal with the TPs. But they are also exceptionally hard to kill. So if you're fighting under the TPs, there's no way to trade well. And yeah, so that means if you're fighting at one spot, they will just be really good, I'd say. And can hold out for a really long time. And if the other players don't, I think Naheulbeuk just doesn't have enough barracks and stuff. So that's hurting him here a bit at the moment, I think. But other than that, they're very annoying. Also, so you have this defensive capabilities of the Lakota, where they can be very cost efficient under the TPs. And then to top that off, you do have your open sky, your war chief, who will just run in and one-shot all your cannons. And you also have the ability to make Tashunke prowlers, stealth, and kill factories and stuff. So I would mainly classify them as annoying and not very fun to play against, and a very defensive civilization. So actually he's getting double Lakota, so that could be a good move. I think the Carolines maybe are the wrong unit, just because they die in like 3 or 4 hits against this. But the idea is decent. I think he really needs, like, if you're playing as aggressive as this, you need mortars. You always need mortars against Lakota, against the TPs. Anyway, so you really should get them early. And I also just think you can use other cannons, so horse artillery. And you also need some forward towers, just in case someone stabs and wants to snipe your cannons. Yeah, but they don't really have the best answers against cannons, I think, and against some defense. So if you get up a wall here, and a tower, then Lakota and maybe a mortar, then Lakota really cannot do much against it. So the biggest issue is that you cannot really build in the TC area. So in my opinion, killing the TC at some point is very important, so you can actually continue your push. But even if you are not able to manage to do that, with mortars you should always be able to kill the TPs and force them to fight outside of the TP range. And yeah, so I'm also interested to see if there will be some Tashunke Prowler raids or some X-Rider stuff going into the base to snipe some factories to claim the Thiefies rewards. Yeah, actually Ajiv is building Grenadiers and he even sent the grenade launcher card. So I was also debating for a long time if I should use this. Maybe it's good. Like if you want to do it, you probably would have to do it with Ottoman, just because they have the most cards on their Grenadiers. And they are Royal Guards, so they really have the best Grenadiers in the game. But I just dislike Grenadiers. There's actually a lot going on. So some raids going on here. That actually hurts. How did he kill the natives here? How did he kill the natives? Okay. I mean, he did some damage. Apparently he attacked there for quite some time, because the TCs are almost down. And some doubling going on here. Some run-bys or raids. Oh, yeah, the Ajiv speciality with... So he wants to build some bases here. Let's see if he can do that. I will just keep him selected and see if he dies or not. Yeah, and now finally the mortars are coming in. And so I also think, so you would have to watch some Thiefy gameplay of Lakota. So at 5 minutes you will usually have a lot of villagers already. And you would have to have more villagers dancing here to achieve that. Is he actually getting the barracks up here? Oh no, finally the... So this is why you really don't... Okay, that's so annoying to deal with. Is there a card which improves the attack for the multiplier against cannons? Oh no, the Janissary is back, so the raids stopped. He dealt with it. Because it feels like my cannons always get one shot against this. I mean, he has one card on it, but does it really help that much? So yeah, but anyway, so the cannons are still alive. The howitzer, I think, should actually target the town center. Just because so he can build walls and towers here. It's actually, in my opinion, a priority that he does that. And if they somehow can keep the pressure up on Lakota, I think at the moment it looks pretty good for Eli's team. Because Lakota seems in a pickle. 81 population, no army, no economy, or a very small economy pushed into space. So we might have a game on our hands here. Yeah, Eli really needs to... Oh, Eli, why do you make grenadiers? And does he have the grenade launcher card? Oh, he actually does have it. So I'm just not a fan of grenadiers. I just tried them a few times at the start of the E, where they were broken. There they were fun, but now I think they're just not good. What happened to Prince of Peace? So I don't think there should be... He really should have lost all these units. Oh, there's a raid going on. Oh. So he had enough resources to do more anti-cav, and losing all those abus and all these cannons hurt him, but he's also still in a decent position. Usually killing Ottoman villagers is not something which helps you a lot, because they just get him for free and automatically, and sometimes people would forget to make villagers at some point, but not on this level. It just feels like for me, raiding Ottoman villagers when he has 5 TCs doesn't really achieve much. Killing Lakota ones actually would achieve a lot now. Like really, they should really maybe focus here, get some Kyberans maybe. But then again, if they would just attack here, then Ajiv and Naheulbeuk couldn't really use Kyberans, just because of the SimCity of which they built. So it's really hard to actually get Kyberans in the position here. So I think if they would just continue here on this side with mortars and horse artillery, then they should be able to break Naheulbeuk, I think. That should be pretty possible. Yeah, so he's finally getting rid of the grenadiers, so that's a good decision, in my opinion. I think these are just way too many cannons, way too many Kyberans. Yeah, just way too many Kyberans. So he has so many Kyberans that he can snipe down the war chief. That's how many Kyberans he has. So yeah, maybe I'm not seeing something. Oh man, I'm in Thief. I only hear, you know, Thief would always laugh if his. So if you would be in voice chat with him, you would hear just a French laugh when his explorer would run in and kill all your cannons. So that's what I always hear when there would be an explorer running on cannons. Oh no, finally. Yeah, this is really not a way to use Kyberans, I think. I think he's doing him a favor just because he has too many cannons. Yeah. So I think this is art. So one war chief killing 10 cannons. It's been some time since I've seen that. So this was a pretty effective. Something pretty effective. A pretty effective war chief. Yeah, and like I think so Prince of Peace and Eli both are decent players, but both really cannot finish games in my opinion. So they have a lot more resources, and they are in a better position in my opinion still. Oh, I mean I say that, and there's bases inside the base of Eli. But other than that, so what I would do, I would just put in all the pressure here, and eventually Lakota will collapse. I think. But yeah, it is something which they can improve on. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's very hard to. I think it's way harder to playing decisive than playing to stay alive and just playing decent like they do. So that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I think they still have the opportunity to finish this game, or they had the opportunity, but they waited too long. Now the villagers would have to leave the stables. How did they even get in, by the way? So there are walls everywhere. How did they get in? I don't think I've missed a factory snipe yet, right? No. So yeah, and again, this is also what I said earlier. So usually, even though it might look like Ajiv didn't do a lot damage, like here. What is going on here? Oh, okay, I mean, he killed a factory. So he did, so another factory snipe for Ajiv and Naheulbeuk, so congratulations to that. Okay, actually he's doing a lot of damage with this raid right now. Way more than he really should have. But even apart from this damage, probably game-ending damage, even if he didn't kill that many villagers, he did distract Eli enough that he couldn't help his mate. Yeah, and bind all these units inside of his base. So it's just raiding is just very effective. That's what I'm trying to say. Raiding and multitasking in deathmatch is just something which is very effective, even though it might not seem as effective. Is he giving up now? So he called it GG, but he has the most points. Why didn't he? Hasn't he killed this? Yeah, I think they just have a lot of resources, so they shouldn't be in a position where they GG. Like sure you lost a factory, but you're also not playing Lakota, so not too bad. Yeah, but he really has to move his units out there. So sometimes what I would do is to use this, move all military units, just so I know it's a bad habit probably, but just sometimes, at least once or twice a game, I would use that. So these units would eventually just move where they belong. Yeah, I mean, I know that if you use that, then you would have to task your flanks and stuff to do it again. But it's just sometimes, it's something I would do. So just because sometimes something like this would happen, or some units from your shipments would be here or something. Yeah. So I still think if they group up and just push, then they can still win. But I think they were in a game winning position where it was very easy to, or where it was very likely to finish the enemy off, and they kind of threw their position. And usually, like if you throw a game, so what it feels like usually, if you throw a game winning position like that and are not able to finish it from there, then why would they be able to finish from a worse position? So that's would sometimes be the mindset some people would have. Yeah, so that's why you would also have seen the GG coming out this early. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like that also sometimes, but then again, I often, at least in a game where I want to win, I try to play until I'm really dead. Just force myself to play it a little longer. I mean, that would annoy some people. But I mean, you lose every game, you just call GG, and there would be sometimes you can make the comeback, and then that would feel extra good. So yeah, I mean, they're still playing. Yeah, just from a casting point of view, he just has so many cannons all the time, Eli. Yeah, I mean, maybe they can do it. So they seem distracted, Naheulbeuk and Big Chip. Maybe they are building, yeah, they're building stuff somewhere. Nope, nothing slipped through, it's just the foundation. And yeah. So yeah, they're actually pushing back again a bit. I think they also could raid a lot more. Oh, I mean, I'm saying this and he's trying to do it, so he's immediately taking the advice. Because there are not many walls up, but Naheul is realizing that and just getting the walls up. So smart guy. Yeah, now like I think there's just too much population in all these cannons, so that's why he's struggling a lot with all these split pushes and stuff. They are very slow, so you can really punish that with a mobile playstyle. Oh, and I think they're going for the cannons. Oh, for the factories. That was actually okay. I'm sold on the grenadiers now, so they are pretty good against building forts, or not unbuilt forts, I guess. Yeah, I think this factory is gone. So I think 2 more factory snipes. Oh, yeah, I think we can count that. I mean, technically he gave up, but yeah, I think we can count that. I think that was the nail in the coffin. So really, 2 factory snipes. Yeah, so that was a good game. I think Prince and Eli made it pretty close. I think they had their chance to win it, where Lakota was only at 80 pop. A bit more decisive gameplay with more mortars, and they would have finished it. Yeah. Other than that, well played to both teams. I don't see the point of the advanced air balloon. I'm still on defense for that. But yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, so Ajiv in the second game, I think he carried that. You would have to give your teammate a beer for that, I think. Let one more thing. So before I end the stream, so I don't have any more replays, but I do have the most recent standing for the Thieves rewards, so I can show you that. I can find it. Um, so, no, this is the last one. Some downloads. Downloads. Bild speichern. Yes. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to. It's a bit big. Yeah, I think let's just start at the top. So we do have one factory snipe for. I can make it a bit bigger. No. We do have one factory snipe for Rodrigo's team, 3 for Ajiv. So they still have a lot of chance to do it. Story has 4, Frosty 3, Sif has 4. I think he has the most sexy ones so far with the rockets. I think that deserves extra credit. So good job on them. I didn't do any snipes yet, or we didn't do any snipes. Then for Lakota, Ajiv carried his Lakota teammate to victory. Sif also played, or Sif's teammates played Japan, so everything open there. Sif also used Hauser. I don't think so. Congrats to him. I hope you are trying again, because I don't think they are a good civilization, and you will just hate your life if you lose because of the civilization. Best game and best comeback, nothing so far. Maybe for Frosty, but the replay got broken. So I hope that we have a replay, and I hope that I can do it maybe today evening, if not on the weekend. So I'm really like Frosty versus Story, Frosty and Matthew against Story and Thief is something I really want to see. So I would be really sad if the replays broke, because they just spend a lot of time playing Deathmatch and they have a rivalry going on. So Matthew would say he would uninstall his game if he would lose to Story, which is funny, I think. And so I'm hyped for that game. And I hope I hope I get my fingers on it. Yeah, but that's everything for now. I think I've covered everything. Only this one series is left. Yeah, I think the next stream will maybe be on Sunday or Monday. So I wanted to do this stream earlier, but my voice was not really good and I was sick, so I didn't really want to do it. That's why it's been a bit late. But I think it's fun, or this stream was still fun. Thanks for tuning in. I will also upload this to YouTube. I will probably cut it. Probably not today. Maybe until next week or something. You know. So, thanks for tuning in. Have a good evening. And see you around. Bye bye.